What's the temperature? What's the temperature for today? Hit that like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Who out there? We got a few people out there waiting in the chat room. Let me get this out the way. Benjamin, what's up, champion? This where I want to see y'all right there, dropping all that good information. But guess what, Benjamin? You know your boy Kev got you if you don't anyway. Press one. And Kev in the building. Your big cousin Kev, live and direct. What's up, R. Davis, Margaret, Amanda, Benjamin, Max, Lovebird? What's up with you? You know your crazy ass gonna be out there somewhere. Press one. What's the theme music for today? I got some special news for y'all today. Press one. We don't crack. Rockefeller. Press one. What up, DJ? Good to see DJ in the classroom. I see you back there. What's happening with you? Shit, looking like your favorite West Side nigga on Crenshaw, trying to holler at the females like Day Day. Press one. What's happening? What's up, Lewis? Matthew, I see you. I see you, champ. You ain't got to write in all capital letters, bro. You ain't got to come in here screaming like we know you. That ain't how you get seen over here. Press one. What's up, Ollie? You see him trying to move it? Nigga, watch out. Kev in the chat. What's Chizad? What's... Yeah, came here saying, what's up, y'all? I'm in the building. Who the fuck are you, bro? Who the fuck is this guy? I like the energy, though. He ain't come in knowing, Ollie, what's up, DJ? Remember me, bro, boy? Y'all some crazy motherfuckers. King Oz, what's up with it, champ? Yeah. Royal Purple. Joseph Montgomery, my favorite pastime buddy. King Kush, is that a motherfucking bill? Don't do it today, bro. I'm trying to study correctly. Oh, shit. Who let this nigga in the fucking building? Shout out to y'all. What up, though? Who let this nigga in the fucking building? Them niggas is in here. Watch y'all move, nigga. You ain't kicking us out this fucking school, nigga. Press one. I be feeling like Samuel Jackson when I get up out of here. Goddamn students fucking around doing dumb shit, but I love these niggas. Love these goddamn students. At the end of a year, you got a mean ass teacher who just like, you know what, guys? I actually like you, Dante. Press one. Where the fuck is Francois? Get your goofy ass over here, bro. It's been a pleasure. What's up, Mrs. Yermaine? Good to see you out here. One Mike, what up with it? I feel like it's one of those moments, Mike. It's just like, yeah. Lord have mercy. This whole adventure we finna be on this year, this motherfucker already cracked off good. I'm trying to be serious and shit. And information is flowing in. I can't even keep my composure. Nigga, I'm waking up mad at the world, screaming at the squirrels. Get away from my fucking window. Fucking nature and shit. No, and that's when I got to realize I'm on fucking fire. Something is happening. I learned to work on that because I learned to recognize that is the divine masculine. Don't resist the divine masculine. Don't let ego, watch this one, ladies, watch this one. Don't let ego block your divine masculinity. Press one. I love that shit. Shout out to y'all. I got it. My wife explained to me before when I type in all cap, it insinuates I'm yelling, but I'm not tripping. It's easier to read for us old folk. Only reading you going to do it over here is John 16. Press one. That's the only thing you can write in all cap. Those ships, I know a few of y'all, out of all of the people that really watch the show, I know a few of y'all been studying ships all day, all night. I told you, don't get too caught up. Just look over there. It's okay to keep your head forward and just peel your eyes over as far as them guards and let you. Don't go too far into studying all of these ships. It'll be equivalent to your ass studying all of them planets up there and universes. It's just gonna lead your ass to more whirlwind. They fucked us up. Don't even. I was reading some shit, and I felt myself going off in another adventure. I'm glad I said fuck this. Press one. I don't want this one. Nigga, I had to stop right there. I said, nope, you ain't finna get me this time. I ain't finna get lost with them. I know this. If a nigga figured out them stars, and time, I know this. This feels like some hidden bullshit. This just feels, no, I don't like it. Kuna Matata, bitch. Ugh. Mufasa. What up, Max? I see you. I don't like that shit. Man, George's Law and the dead, and the what? The dead man's chest. Pandora's box. That shit sound interesting, huh? I just said the shit. I was just like, as much as I'm as we figuring it out, it's the reason why I titled it that. I don't know why. I do know why, but since we're talking about Pandora's box and George's Law and all of these mythical and great stories why not just finish up the conversation, you know? Why not? What up, Taj? And because I'm finna take y'all on a ride today. For a lot of my students that's been here, y'all might as well roll up, sit back, put your motherfucking seatbelt on, cause you about to understand. Y'all ain't gonna understand how far you come. I finally realized this. You don't know how far you don't know where you going unless you know where you been or some shit like that. Even where you at, you don't know where you at unless you know where you been and what you been through. Even if it's on the success route, you got to be able to stop and give yourself thanks and pat yourself on the back sometimes, because ain't nobody gonna tell you to look how far you came. You feel what I'm saying? You gotta do that as an individual. So everybody in this class today is gonna realize why they even here. Even if it's fucking Francois hanging out in the back, he gonna get it. Even if you never gotten a right answer, even if you got yelled at, hung up on, you gonna understand it today. Facts. I just want to let y'all know I got some good work for y'all. And it's a blessing that we can view history in a way that's from a prisoner of war point of view, rather we're all free in some form of working together to pay off some grand debt. You feel me? All of us in some communistic form of thinking
to
like
rival
we're all
Europe's
finna
great
get together and all this finna go away. But I told y'all that there was a huge black extermination, a lot of switch stories, a lot of alternate stories and backwards. When you start looking into history, they got us thinking we came from Africa. They got them thinking something. I don't know what's going on. So you really got to have your pineal gland open to be able to see this correctly. So somebody sent me this, emailed me this video of black people in Germany. My light bulb went off. I said, oh, let me see this. I click on the video. And it start off in time immemorial, right? Because you know they got to let them do their time immemorial slave story. Remember this. So I sat through it. Usually I don't sit through it. I sat through it and was like, okay, hurry up. I let it go. All right, hurry this shit up. Video playing this shit. I say, damn, okay, so they kind of got the same story even though they from over there? Okay. But what happened to them? Man, they switch over to Adolf Hitler. They immediately switch over to Adolf Hitler. I said, oh shit. Nigga, this is finna get good. Hitler, from the slave time immemorial to Adolf Hitler. It just jumped like that. Slavery, Adolf Hitler. I said, damn. They start bringing up eugenics. I said, oh shit, pause. Here we go. We about to set sail. Press 1. I said, here we go. Pause. This is already going to be good. I got to play this for my class and watch it with them. I already felt it because I just got past the time immemorial. We all know the slave story. So I'm deciding to, let me see, to play it for the class today. And it's going to start from the story, from the slave boat story, German slave ships. See that how they tell the story? German slave ships. Now this look like gold if you a banker. I'ma let that sit on your brain for a minute. This look like bars of gold if you a banker. You got to be able to let all the mythologies go, like Morpheus said. It's not real. You got to let it all go, Neos and Nietzsche. Who is Morpheus? The god of dreams. Right? It's not real. Morpheus is like, it's not real. You feel me? And you're going to figure out that it's not real, bro. So time immemorial is like the dream state to me. Another form of that which people believe is real, and it didn't even happen. It's just made up to cover something else. But we'll get to it. Benjamin, watch this.
Later, German slave ships, such as the Friedrich III, transported thousands of African slaves. Some of the slaves ended up on the slave market of St. Thomas in the Virgin Islands. St. Thomas is known to be the most prominent slave market in
Look familiar? All right, we go keep going.
the world. Africans were brought as slaves from the western coast of Africa, where a number of German estates were established, primarily on the Gold Coast. 12 Negro boys were brought from the western part of Africa. 6 were decorated with golden chains and presented to the king. These enslaved children were later...
Which is insane because we all know that slavery was outlawed by the king. Right. So let's not get this confused. Slavery and indentured servitude without pay and none of this stuff is illegal with they lying asses by way of the king. You ain't presenting the king with no damn 10 slave fool when everything is his. And he said the people is free. Well, they gotta work off their debt, the travel and the expenses. They become emancipated, become nationalized correctly. But this is ridiculous to say. This shit is weird, man. Well, it's actually dope that we can see it. Listen.
later bought by their new masters, and they were taken to Potsdam and Berlin. King Friedrich Wilhelm, the first of Prussia, later sold...
Look at those Pope hats. The first king of Prussia. Now, who that look like on that horse? That look like George Washington. The fake George Washington they got in front of your goddamn face. Press 1. Now what? And what flag is that in the background? a sovereign flag. Get the fuck out of here. But we'll continue on.
His Ghana Graud Friedrichsburg estates, situated in Africa in 1717. During this period, slaves were traded for German linen fabrics and interracial couples were pressured. Before World War I, thousands of black people lived in Germany.
Now watch this. Remember I told you black people was trapped over there? Now watch this.
Of which came from Africa, North and South America, and the Caribbean.
Wait a minute. African Americans, black people, got stuck in motherfucking over there from North and South America? Does that sound familiar? Remember J.P. Morgan? We'll get your boys home if you... Never mind. We'll get to it.
Some of which came from Africa, North and South America, and the Caribbean. The First World War limited international travel and migration in 1914. The Germans imposed strict migration rules. Some that had traveled to the country for business only stayed for a while, then left before the war commenced. After World War I ended, the immigrants who were still in the country could not leave because they had no passports or travel documents.
You see that? Boom.
Hence, they were stranded in the country.
Boom. Remember I told you the Hellfighters were stranded? They deserted them. Remember, I'm the only one who figuring this shit out. I said, oh shit. This fucking government deserted our boys. It was more than expatriated. They deserted them. They call it expatriated. They literally deserted them. Right there.
The erasure of the Afro-Germans.
Watch this.
The erasure of people of African descent from Germany.
Now look. Do they look familiar?
Is a gradual process.
Do that look familiar?
That eventually occurred after several harsh conditions and laws.
Look familiar?
The Afro-Germans population largely declined during the Nazi regime.
The Afro-German people largely declined during the Hitler regime. Come on.
The Nazis, short for National Socialists.
The Nazis, short for National Socialists. Democrats. Democrats, bro. And them, all of them.
Political party that rose to power in Germany in the 1930s, led by Adolf Hitler. The Nazi Party was known for its extreme nationalism, racism, and totalitarianism.
Not one black person there.
And sought to establish a fascist state based on these ideals. In the 19th century, several thousand blacks were living in Germany, but when the Nazis came into power, the blacks were harassed and persecuted.
There was what? Where do y'all see these jackets? The what blacks was harassed and persecuted? The ones
Several
that grew up there? No.
Thousand blacks were living in Germany, but when the Nazis came into power, the blacks were harassed and persecuted. The Nazi regime promoted the idea of Aryan supremacy and aimed to purify the German population through eugenics and racial policies.
Racial policies. Police policies, corporation, racial policies, not law. But we'll continue on.
Non-Aryans, including Jews, Roma, Sinti, homosexuals, disabled individuals, and people of African descent.
Boom. There you are. There go all they people, our people. We keep running into the same people. Over and over again.
Were considered inferior and targeted for exclusion and persecution.
Persecution
during this period,
extermination.
The Nazis' policies became more extreme. They created laws that made most black people end up in prisons,
Boom.
hospitals, psychiatric facilities.
Who that sound like? They made laws that did what?
Most black people end up in prisons, hospitals, psychiatric facilities, and concentration camps.
Now hold up. Say it again.
Of African descent were considered inferior and targeted for exclusion and persecution. During this period, the Nazis' policies became more extreme. They created laws that made most black people end up in prisons,
Told you.
hospitals,
13, 14,
psychiatric facilities, and concentration
Mentos and extermination
camps. Many Afro-Germans were also forcibly conscripted into the German military during the war.
Oh, really? Oh, really?
And those who fought on the front lines faced additional discrimination and mistreatment.
Them not African Americans. Them is Africans. Those is French Africans, Asiatic Africans. Wow. Sounds like a switch. Look. It's a whole different nation of people. These are the ones who joined their militaries. I told you, the French, German. I told y'all, bro. The perfect Nazi is a what? Is an African French black Nazi who won't nigga. Hold on, caller. Let me get to it. Let me put you on the air. I wasn't expecting no calls right now, but since you on, but now they just proving my whole theory. If y'all really think about it, family, it's really like, damn. What's on his head? The Moor cap. Coffee, the French army cap. Not the Moor cap, excuse me. The French African army, Nazi, German allegiance. Coffee and Kush TV. KevRow, what's your name? Where you calling from?
Carlton Pierce.
What up?
My car got towed.
Okay. Thank you for calling, bro. That's gonna have to.
What do you do?
You're gonna have to pay your bills. But yeah, y'all make sure that y'all paying attention in class. This is that shit. Remember I asked the question, how did black Nazis?
Some Afro-German soldiers were sent to the Eastern Front.
Now, who are those? Those are not. Those are the hell fighters. Those are all our people. Who did what? Those are all our people. Right there. They're not even the same. Look at the hats. Those ain't even more. Them ain't even the same people. That's more of an American. That's more National Guard of America. They was with the band, musicians. The best musicians come from where? Dizzy Gillespie, blah, 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 all of the greats. Think about it. And they were all military. Here it is. They have made the switch here, exactly where I said it. They made the switch, destroyed us, and North Africans, French, African, German, made German allegiance folk assumed the role as if they won the war together on their way home. Millions of people lost at sea. All of our men were Navy men. Look, there's the Navy. They were all on ships. After the war, only ones who returned were actors. People who came in and said, yeah, we're the returning army, yay. They already had kids and stuff ready for returning German soldiers in American garb, per se. They had the babies, the families, the wives ready for them when they returned. They didn't even know they had kids or nothing. They were just coming over here with families, dishing them off new homes as if they won a war or some shit. When your boys is lost at sea, gone. Trapped in different nations, like what, probably all type of shit going on at the time where they was put And we already know that they were made to do what? Deny their nation, because they had to become under the power of Rome of Rome. They had to come under the power from the Roman Catholic Church. So they're not even American. Remember, they became fucking them. And a lot of our boys would deny, they wouldn't give up their sovereignty. So you probably, you know what happened. We kind of like proved that was a big fucking issue if you wouldn't deny who you were to become them. That's fucking crazy. That's fucking crazy that they can tell such, well, tales.
They were treated particularly harshly by their fellow soldiers and subjected to brutal conditions. A lot of Afro-Germans died during this period.
Look, now who is that? Those are Africans. Look, Turks. Look at their hats.
This was one of the reasons which led to their decline in population.
None of that.
The Nuremberg race laws.
They're making look at Nazis behind them. This is probably concentration camp time. Look who's behind them. Who's to say what this is?
Nuremberg race laws. The Nazi regime declared the Nuremberg race laws in September. The Nuremberg. This was one of the reasons which led to their decline in population.
No, remember, what led to their decline in population was what's old boy who murdered all of the Africans, but King Leopold? Right. We already discovered most of these people were actors and shit, so who's to say he wasn't just an extermination guy? Stalin, Leopold, all of these people. Because Stalin and these people murdered how many individuals? Germany murdered how many of their own? No, their own all became white people in America and denied who they were. So they died. Their old selves died and they became new white people in America with new names of exterminated individuals and new land. That, bro, listen to what I'm saying. This is deep.
The Nuremberg race laws.
Look.
The Nazi regime declared the Nuremberg race laws in September 1935. These laws were put in place because of the Jews, but in November 1935, the law also affected the black and the Roman people.
Affected. As soon as they became Romans or whatever in that shit, in their armies, they fucking went to work on genocide. Coffee and Kush TV, you on the air. What up?
Coffee Kush, I'm lost. What's going on?
Oh, shit, your brain lost. That's your problem. Drugs and alcohol have ruined your life. So, yeah, that's what's going on. Drugs and alcohol have ruined your life. Yeah, I saw the Judean sign. They called you a Jew. They called you Judean. I'm going to show you right here. Look.
During this period, those of non-Aryan descent were called.
Look, they made you a gypsy. They made you black. When you know a gypsy is Rama and all that, they made black in law.
First Nuremberg law was also known as the Reich Citizenship Law. It stated that a German citizen was of German origin or related by blood. This law was to exclude.
Look, ain't them black hellfighters who went on that ship?
Law.
Look,
it stated that a German citizen.
We saw this in American footage of them getting on the same ships.
Was of German origin or
black people. Right here, champ.
Related by blood.
Look at this. These are just captains.
This
of
law
ship.
was to exclude
They don't even have military
from political rights
they just
in
using
Germany.
Videos.
The second law was for the protection of German blood and German honor.
Look.
With this law, race mixing, otherwise known as race defilement, was banned. The law forbade intermarriage or sexual relations between the German or its related blood. This law aimed to prevent black people
Look on his shirt. Look on his shirt.
Not like this.
Look on his jacket.
Not like this.
That's crazy. That's crazy. That you would have thought he was a sheriff. Your dumb ass. Mm. 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 Mm.
from marrying and having children with Germans. The Nuremberg race laws made it difficult for the blacks in
These are
Germany
all people of the South. They busted. These are all the people of the South, bro. They is not fooling me. Don't let them fool you. Look at them.
to marry or to build a future. Despite the laws against interracial couples,
cannot
some blacks who
believe
were
what I'm
romantically
looking
engaged to
at.
the German Aryans
That's African.
got married, though the relationship was
They was
dangerous
adopting
for
kids
both
all over the
partners.
place.
The law
Integration.
pressured white German women to divorce their black husbands. They felt the presence of the Afro-Germans was a threat to their racial purity. Afro-Germans were popularly known as Rhineland bastards, a derogatory term used to describe
Look.
people of mixed race ancestry.
You got to get the fuck out of here. Get that? It's not
Afro-Germans was a threat to their racial purity.
Oh my goodness.
Afro-Germans were popularly
y'all
known
see
as
this?
Rhineland bastards, a derogatory term
Look.
used to describe people of mixed race ancestry.
Get the fuck out of here.
The detests for the African descent also made Bernhard Dernberg, the
Who is
German
this
director for
guy?
colonial affairs,
Oh my goodness, bro. I'm fucked up. I apologize, y'all. I'm fucked up because I know him. Nigga, I feel like that movie. I know this nigga. That's the dude that was with. I know this shit. He gonna be somewhere, bro. He gonna be somewhere. Taj, you know this dude. We gonna get to him.
make a derogatory
It's Kentucky Fried Chicken. That's what the fuck he is.
statement. He
The
announced that
fucking
some
colonel. Oh,
native tribes, just like some animals, must be destroyed.
look.
During this period, not
Look,
only were the
bro.
African tribes, just African descent, also made Bernhard Dernberg, the German director for colonial affairs, make a derogatory statement. He announced that some native tribes,
Think of
just
him in
like
a
some animals,
all-white beard.
must be destroyed.
And destroy.
During this period, not only were the Africans hated, the Jews and some people who were not related to German blood were criticized. Black children were excluded from schools. They suffered a lot of criticism from their parents. They felt lonely, isolated, and excluded from society. The children wanted to be part of the German
our
excitement,
people.
but that wasn't allowed.
Nah, bro.
At first, the
was
discrimination
African
against
Americans.
school children was a local initiative, but things got worse when the Nazis took control of schooling and enforced formal bans against black students. The Nazi law completely banned Jewish children from attending German public schools. Let's stop here for a minute. Encourage us to continue making videos like this by liking this video and subscribing to the New Tourist channel. Do not forget to turn on notifications so you get notified whenever we upload interesting
I cannot
videos like
believe
this.
what the
Let's
fuck I'm
continue.
watching.
Forced sterilization. This was a wicked strategy used by the Nazis to persecute black people in Germany.
Oh my goodness. Oh, bruh. All I need is 5 people to work on the show, do my history. That's it. Get ready. That's it. I'm gonna know if you serious. Jeez Louise.
Let's continue. Forced sterilization.
Look,
This was
red-handed.
a wicked strategy used by the Nazis to persecute black people in
Margaret Sanger.
Germany. They forcefully sterilized the multiracial children in Rhineland. The Nazis wanted to prevent race mixing, so they forcibly sterilized the black men while seeing them as a threat to the strength and purity of the Aryan race.
Boom. You see that? As long as it was Hitler that did it, you would never question if it happened here. This was going on right here. If Hitler was right here in the fucking White House.
This sterilization was to make them unable to have children. They announced the law for the prevention of offspring with hereditary diseases in a
Now
bid
you see where castration come from.
to prevent race mixing in 1933. During this period, about 400,000 people were sterilized.
Wow.
For instance, Ferdinand Allen, who was from a black British father and a white German mother, suffered from epilepsy and was forcibly sterilized by court order on May 15, 1941. Allen was later murdered at Bernburg by the Nazis following their T4 program. We are going to be telling you more about this T4 program shortly. A secret Gestapo coordinated the forced sterilization of multiracial children in 1930, and a total of 385 children and teenagers were forcibly sterilized. Establishment of the T4 program.
And these are actors. This ain't that. Yeah, they using different people of retarded people, Bungalow 54, to play this picture and put T4 program words on it. Nah, the T4 program, family. Oh my goodness. I feel like I'm in that old video game. Stealth. What was the name? Metal Gear. T4 program, huh? The extermination.
T4 program,
you
also known
see it if you can't see.
As the euthanasia program,
The euthanasia
was a
program. Now, where's Todd? Who wore a euthanasia chain? Tupac Shakur, before he even fucking answers. Remember the euthanasia chain? Okay then, bro. Make it make sense to Kev.
Nazi policy involving the involuntary euthanasia of people with physical and mental disabilities.
Now you see why you are compos mentos and why your king had to be euthanized. Euthanasia, bro. Forced, put to death. Forced. Extermination, bro. You come here. You got a disability? Come here. What's your disability? Oh, he's black. He got a disability. He can't read. He can't write. He black. They went full blown legal to exterminate them. They can use all these pictures if they want to. You know in your genetic makeup what they're saying.
The program also targeted other groups deemed unworthy of life, including Afro-Germans.
Boom.
The T4 program had a significant impact on the decline of Afro-Germans because it allowed the forced sterilization and murder of those who were considered racially inferior. One of the victims of the T4 program is hilarious Larry Gilges, who was a black German dancer and communist.
Ah, interesting. That's crazy. That's crazy that they speak English being German.
Not like this.
You know,
Not like
that's
this.
real strange that all the Germans speak your language and write your language. But soon as you put these people up here, every black person light bulb is going off right now. Because you now know that them is the goddamn Black Panther. Now, if they don't stop this madness and sit up, and Kev just fucking proved this fucking point that they made you. I can't even believe what my mind is saying without my lips moving.
Activist. He was murdered by the Nazis and his body was left on the street on June 20, 1933. Gilge's murder took place during the first months of the Nazi regime.
Wow.
The law for the restoration of the professional civil service. The law for the restoration of the professional
These
civil
are the people
service
America allowed over here to do all this madness. Remember? They was in America.
was enacted in April 1933. The law provided for the removal of Jews and others deemed politically unreliable from government positions, including teaching positions in schools and universities, administrative positions, and other roles within the civil service. The law defined Jews as anyone who had at least one Jewish grandparent and also included political dissidents, homosexuals, and others deemed undesirable by the Nazi regime.
Nazis were
African
homosexual.
descent was greatly affected by this law because only citizens could allegedly become civil servants. Naturalized Afro-Germans lost
Wow.
their passports, and the working conditions became difficult, especially for those in
So they were exterminated.
prominent industries such as music or movies. Many Germans embraced this ideology and openly discriminated against black people on their initiative. Colleagues and bosses were reluctant to work with people whose skin color marked them as outsiders in the Nazi racial community. All these rules that were brought up by the Germans helped in the reduction and erasure of African descent from Germany. It is important to know that in the latter years, Afro-Germans have fought for their rights. They used a variety of methods to fight for their rights. They have participated in protests and demonstrations to demand their rights and challenge racial discrimination. For example, the black community in Germany organized protests against discriminatory laws and practices, such as the ban on interracial marriage in the 1920s and 1930s. In addition to protests, they have engaged in civil disobedience, such as refusing to comply with discriminatory laws or regulations. An example is Theodor Michael, a black German who refused to comply with the Nazi policy of racial segregation in public transportation during World War II. Afro-Germans have also used legal action to challenge discriminatory practices and laws. In the 1950s and 1960s, some Afro-Germans successfully challenged the German government's refusal to grant them citizenship rights. In his book, Being German and Also Black, Theodor Michael Wanja, whose father was originally from Douala in Cameroon and his mother German, recounts how his father and other Africans were kept in human zoos for ethnological expositions.
Oh my goodness. Remember these? The World Fairs.
That was the
They
best
was bringing those Africans, remember?
most blacks could do at the time to make a living in Germany. Germans put them there, and other white people came to watch them without any shame.
Wow.
Up until the 1930s, there were about 400 human zoos in Germany alone. Most of these Africans were homesick. Some died because they couldn't get vaccinated or any treatment.
Because they couldn't get vaccinated. Because they died because they got vaccinated.
Their cultural expressions, such as music, literature, and art, have gone a long way to challenge
These are
stereotypes
monsters.
and assert their identity. For example, the Afro-German jazz musician Louis Armstrong was an important cultural figure in Germany during the 1930s and 1940s.
What'd I say?
Sadly, some Afro-Germans who fought for their rights were killed for their activism. Amadeu Antonio Quioa, who was an activist, was murdered by neo-Nazis in 1992. His death sparked widespread outrage and led to the creation of the Amadeu Antonio Foundation, which works to combat racism and xenophobia in Germany. Memorial plaques called Stolperstein,
You said that's the guy from the Bronx Zoo? Well, you're absolutely right.
stumbling stones, have been dedicated to black victims of Nazi persecution and
Look, ain't that Anne Frank? Let me stop.
murder. Now that you know about the erasure of the
Let me stop.
Afro-Germans, it will be interesting to know there were also Afro-Argentines. We have added a video on our channel which talks about how Argentina got rid of its black population. Make sure you watch it too.
My goodness. So they're just exterminating us this whole time. And you know what? It seems we've been right this whole time. It seems like America is nothing more than Nazi Germany on fucking steroids. And they actually have the same laws continuing from the Adolf Hitler era. I mean, the same exact exterminations was going on over there is going on here. The same exact Margaret Sanger forced sterilization castrations is going on over there. The same exact cover stories is being used over there. Like damn, and remember I told you dolls. Now let's put it in perspective. I told y'all this gonna be a good year. This gonna be a good year because we starting to make sense of the dolls. Now you can type in Charles Dolls in these people, but the dolls program was in Germany as well. America got its extermination program and dolls program from Charles Dawes and Adolf Hitler, not the other way around. The extermination of African Americans and German Afro Germans and Afro Americans, which is damn near one and the same because we were blended in. You had to become a fucking citizen, just like in America. You became a 14th Amendment citizen. It's the same fucking pillage after the robbery. Can we agree? All of the extermination happens after the gold. Can we at least agree on that, classroom? All of this conquering of America, let's say it happened in Germany, right? And our brothers over there and sisters over there can vouch this same exact thing happened, and they are property of the king. And this is what happened. Because that's who they really belong to. If they are our people, they are property of the king. And they are part of the genocide and extermination that happened on that side of the globe. All through Europe, Morocco, North Africa, Iberia, all of it. All of it. So I'm beginning to I'm like, damn. So who's the president at the time of Adolf Hitler? Because I'm already thinking that it's all the same individual, from Woodrow Wilson, Pope Pius, and his connection to the Holocaust and extermination of Afro Germans. Look, this is deep, man, and his connection to it. My man Woodrow Wilson, right? Which is insanely identical to this nigga head over here. Let's put his head on his body here. Let's see if it works. Yep, that look like him. Press one. 37, 64. And they both look like Bob Saget. Press one. Hit the like button and subscribe. So we got to figure out, like, where were the concentration camps in America? Because the only thing you hear about is Asian concentration camps. But what I just saw was black people in concentration camps. Now, internment camps and camps where the military is bringing the military is bringing foreigners inside the government, they're going to stay on military bases. So I don't consider those concentration camps. What I consider concentration camps is genocide. You feel me? Like what this whole Japanese and white folk was mad when everybody's white is not even making sense to an individual who's looking at where all of you guys come from. Like I'm just a person not trying to fall for the propaganda. I know that there's different nations on earth, and I know y'all you ain't gonna just and all Asian people was in now the Asians was in the concentration camp working on the railroad. All right. Are we ever gonna get to us and what we think? You know? So the ghettos right here in America. The same thing happened in internment camps. Y'all just seen all of those black men get on those ships. When we was studying the Hellfighters and them getting on ships, matter of fact, let me see if I can find it right now. You feel me? It was the same brothers. Let's go to that. Let's go to that right there. You see that video? Boop. Kev Gills, don't miss nothing.
The Harlem Hellfighters was a regiment of New York National Guardsmen.
Boom. Somebody say, Kev Gills, you the man. Kev Gills gotta be sent by God. Go ahead and look at your neighbor. I ain't gonna get boastful. You feel me? This boy got because I say it to myself, God, why did you make me feel like I've been sent by you to do, bro? This is too deep. This is what it is. Look at them hats. Okay? Now look. Harlem Hellfighters. Look at these hats. Look at those jackets. Them the same hats. Them the same jackets. Them the same rifles. They was doing the same salutes. I'm trying to tell you, bro. Thank me later, y'all.
In the First World War.
The
They
first
were
one.
set up to fail by their own government.
They was what? Say it again, my friend. Say it again.
Guardsmen in the First World War. They were set up to fail by their own government.
This is World War One. They were set up to fail by their own government. The whole theater of is to cover what they did to us. Do you understand? The whole theater is to cover up these people. Now I can see and hear it correctly. They deserted these men, bro, and left them in the hands of the most cruel, genocidal individuals the world has ever known. Then place that in time immemorial so we'll never think about it and remember what happened. Because they placed this action on this person in 16 AD. They placed this other action in 1742. And when you lost in time, you ain't knowing that all of this. If the illustrations are all white people, you just at school like, oh, this was sad what they did to these little innocent people. These are the people who assumed your name and your forefathers went through that process. So while you feeling bad for them little eyeballs, make sure you you understand what I'm saying. Come to class. While you getting white, that is why they did that to you, and you fucked up.
They were humiliated, degraded, eventually given to the French army as
Given to the what? Let me stop. How you going? They gave them to the French.
government. They were humiliated, degraded, eventually given to the French army as a throwaway. And they ended up...
Those are Nazis. They threw away our boys to the Nazis, bro. As rejects, as what? Throwaways, as what? Trash. Everything the Nazis said that'll get you thrown in the incinerator. Everything that the Nazis said will get you thrown in the incinerator. In war. In this whole regime. Damn. America sacrificed her firstborn. Did you hear what I said? These are your firstborn, bro. That gave life to the world, bro. You don't even want to know what Christ is, bro. You don't even know how they erased you and at the flash. You don't know what the flashpoint is. My man said that's treason. Oh, that's more than treason, sir. This act alone is against God. The universal God of the damn creator of everything you can think is possible in your fucking brain, bro. While you riding around in a fucking car and in your house chilling with an AC and shit, this is against him and his people. Okay? So while you sitting up there with your nice ponytail supporting Serapis and the genocidal coup d'etat of the kingdom, you just realized, Candace Owens, that the Lloyds of London put an insurance hit on God's people. You wretched woman, you. Press one.
Coming home as one of the most decorated units in the entire U.S. Army.
They came home and did what? As what? One of the most decorated. They was thrown away and came home as the what? Yeah, right.
Decorated units in the entire U.S. Army.
The Harlem Hellfighters are one of the most important regiments in American history. In World War I, they helped to establish to the entire world the power of black soldiers in the military.
Oh, me. And before that, and before that, and before that, and before that, and before that.
It was very difficult at that time for African
ain't this the same video?
Americans to get into the United States military because there was this perception
that was the same one that. Come on, family.
That African Americans would not do well in battle. They had to overcome the prejudice of their own countrymen and yet also perform ably on the battlefield.
I can't believe.
Like so many units of African American descent, when they go overseas, they're not sure what they're going to do. Are they going to fight as infantry? Or are they going to be stevedores and load ships? Or are they going to be labor units and cut wood?
Told y'all. There they go. There they go.
And so they're committed to
who own these ships. There they go.
Labor duty, they're unloading ships, building latrines, those type of support services.
Building what? Building the trains, building up everything.
And as you can imagine, these men have been trained and they're willing to fight, they're ready to fight, and this is stressful for them.
They were finally given to the French army, which in a way was an even greater insult because in the First World War, when the United States entered, General Pershing, the commanding officer, was very clear that American forces would not be fed piecemeal into the French and British army because the French and British wanted reinforcements, and Pershing said absolutely not. When Americans join this war, they will fight as an American force under an American flag led by an American general. ... except for the black guys. You can have them.
Told you. What is this? That's a train with a cannon on the front, just like I told y'all they was doing in America. This is a train with a cannon on the front of that motherfucker.
Henry Johnson is perhaps one of the most remarkable black military heroes in U.S. history.
And he found himself in no man's land with Private Needham Roberts manning a listening post.
And Needham Roberts hears click, click.
Now look, if y'all ever seen that movie, the Manchurian Candidate, all the men know this film. Now go back and think about Denzel Washington and Roberts and their connection and realize that never happened in that movie. Remember that when you listening to the Hellfighter stories of the same hero doing the same thing all the time. You feel me? It's always some hero that performed and he did this and then that, and then that hero went off to become great in the return home from Iraq, and that was Roberts, remember?
And Needham Roberts hears click,
watch this.
Click. And he realizes somebody's cutting the wire. It's potentially a German raid.
And so Roberts is passing him grenades, and they line up these grenades, and the Germans actually do come across the lines. Roberts is hurt, and now Henry Johnson is left to defend their position and to stave off this attack. And then he makes the mistake of jamming a French cartridge into his American gun, and it no longer will work. And the Germans are on top of it.
He then used his rifle like a club, and then he ended up fighting with a knife against the Kaiser's best and turned them.
He's wounded in the fray. He's struck, for example, in the foot, and has a debilitating injury as a result. And he fights them off, he says, for what seemed like an hour.
The Germans ran shrieking into the night, all because of one man.
All the Germans.
It's not until the next morning
Give
that
him a
people
hero.
realize what a tremendous act this was. They discover 4 bodies of dead German soldiers. And they also realize from the equipment and other things that are left behind that as many as 30 may have been involved in this altercation.
As soon as he drove off those Germans, the French awarded him with the Croix de Guerre, a great honor. Unfortunately, it took about 75 years for the US government to give him the Legion of Merit.
Not like this. Not like this.
Had he been white, he would have walked out of that war with the Medal of Honor.
It was called the. It wasn't called the Medal of Honor, sir. Press 1, the highest honor in America on this land. What medal is that? Can anybody in the chat room name the medal, the highest medal honor in the world? Look at the chat room. People think y'all mind control. They're like, y'all under mind control? People were like, they under mind control. Look at these motherfuckers. They fucking say anything he says. I'm just asking, what is the highest medal? Like, hey, Brian King, they don't know like me to do shit, bro. Trust me. Look at this chat room. They're under fucking mind control. He got mind control over Debo. Press 1. It is the Gillespie medal. You guys are correct. Press 1. Wrong. Wrong. Not the Purple Heart. Wrong. The highest honorable medal. Wrong. They mad about the Gillespie medal. Hit that like button and subscribe.
What was so shocking to me when I began to research the story of the Hellfighters was that after they had performed so magnificently in combat, the United States government actually sent a memorandum to the French government, essentially implementing Jim Crow, essentially saying, don't give them some notion that they are equals, because we don't want them taking that notion back to the United States and demanding equality.
It is the George Louis Gillespie Medal of Honor is what y'all call it.
When they come back to the United States, he's not awarded the Purple Heart. There's no notation in his military record of his injury. And so he winds up not being able to work because of this injury. He doesn't get any kind of assistance from the army or from the government as a result. And he ends up dying in 1929 penniless.
Why? Because he don't have a pension. They stole his name.
From the army or from the government as a result. And he ends up dying in 1929 penniless. So it again shows the paradox. Here's this great story of valor and of courage on the part of this soldier, and ultimately he comes back to a nation that doesn't honor that sacrifice.
We tend to think we all know American history so well, but the story of the Harlem Hellfighters should be one of the first stories told.
Told you. Should be one of the, if not the first.
It wasn't about killing other people. It was about being Americans and serving their country well. That was the inclination of the Harlem Hellfighters.
When you are
They took their
African American
service for
in
granted.
1917, democracy is armor. Democracy is a weapon. And to fight for a war to make the world safe for democracy was something more than just some ethereal crusade for the Hellfighters. It had concrete results. They were fighting for the rights to be a citizen of the country that they were born in.
Bam. And if you understand the slick tongue of Satan is split, then you understand exactly what he just said, bro. Then you gonna be a citizen. And if you be a citizen, you are giving up your freedom and your freedom and your sovereignty. And you're replacing the old king, your old for you can be a citizen. If not, get the fuck out of here and find your own way home or whatever the fuck you gonna do. So y'all gotta understand this was forced citizenship, forced black, forced dead in law, forced. This was a forced action during a time when the world, well, the whole kingdom itself was in a state of peril. They seen that, came in with an artificial, algorithmic SSA or Social Security, branded everybody. Bankers put you in a bonded you, and put you in a trust and start trading your names to the world, to everybody. And they're just, it's time to start talking about these things, fellas. Hit that like button and subscribe. 424-209-9506. I'm going to leave the phone lines open. You got a few. Hey, man, it's a lot of knowledge out there. Do your research. Do your motherfucking research, because in my opinion, if you look at all the players at the time of this, everybody started looking the same, first of all. And then America starts to look like the hidden Nazi regime. And if you look at the Nazi regime and that way of thinking, the Japanese and Asiatic communities was with the extermination of us as well. For they was with the axis of evil. Press 1. So we fought against them. Again, where is the gold that was given at the time during the Dawes? How did y'all gonna flip? Y'all like, damn, this nigga Kev don't stop. Who gave up the gold to give to Germany, to give to France? Press 1 to give to create Jew homeland in Palestine. Where did y'all get this gold from? Did you get it from America? Press 1. That caused the panic. Adolf Hitler's gold, the trains full of gold, Adolf Hitler, while America believing in ship stories. Was it really the train, Wells Fargo, who were stealing people's gold and silver? Damn, Kev, don't do them like that. I'm a straight gangsta, Los Angeles thoroughbred. Fuck what a nerd said. I'm a gangsta. Damn, that shit sound fresh, huh? That's going on the track. Coffee. I just made a beat, nigga. I'm a gangsta. Coffee and Kush TV, you on the air, whatever.
Peace, Cabbage Todd's calling in from Georgia,
What's
man.
up, man? I feel good. I was thinking of Nipsey when I said that. That was smooth right there. Go ahead.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Hey, bro. Man, bro, it's like, all right, I was doing research. I fell asleep last night, but I had to catch up on the video. So off of that, what I realized here in Georgia, and it's going to tie back into what we're talking about today. Here in Georgia, there was a U.S. Mint in Dahlonega, and that's like North Georgia. That's going up 400.
Thank you, sir. I was lost. I was like, what the fuck is Granada? That sound like, but go. I'm so glad you cleared that up.
Yeah, it's in North Georgia.
Go ahead.
So it's just north of Forsyth County in Dawson County.
Okay.
That's where Lake Lanier. That's Lake Lanier. That's
Okay.
Oscarville, the town that was flooded after they came and said, "Hey, these black children, you know, they raped the lady and they killed her." And then they flooded out the whole town. Now, I never realized, other than the fact that they said it was a very prosperous town, but the purest gold in the world was found all throughout North Georgia, especially in Dahlonega, and that's where everything was being minted at. So it makes sense how they ran all the Americans out of those areas, so that they can have not only, you know what I mean, the businesses in the land, but the actual gold and everything.
Yes.
So that just made Yeah, I never realized it was an East Coast gold rush. That's not something that's here in history.
We talked about
But
the one in the Carolinas. Yeah, there was a few gold rushes before San Francisco. The thing about San Francisco is the state was so large. You see, it's so big.
mhm.
The whole state itself, let alone Frisco. But Frisco was a cold gold rush for a specific reason. Go ahead, champ.
Yes, sir. And that coincides right around the time of the California genocide. And the same way they took the victims of the Holocaust during World War II and gave that the reparations and everything to a different group of people themselves. They did the same thing with those Pan American people, Pan Asian people that came over here on the west side. Reminded me of like the men in the high castle, how they came from both sides, bro. And,
Oh, that one map where they subdued both sides of the states. Go ahead, because you go
also
ahead.
looking like the Louisiana Purchase in the U.S. Naval flood maps. Yes, sir.
Right. And you also know, if you do your research on Wells Fargo, that the Asian community on the West Coast were the first with that. So they were doing a lot of transporting gold back to the East Coast. Go ahead.
Right. And then the guy, George Long, he was with the post offices, and like yesterday, you was talking about the safety deposit boxes. That's where everybody was depositing their boxes in the post
At
office.
the post
And that's why
office.
it was so much gold that was on the ships. The postal wars.
Were the post office only able to operate offshore?
That's a good question. I know something to do with like the zip codes and stuff like that. Um, but I would assume so.
Those would be like lighthouses. But like, my brain is going crazy, but
It would be like a ship, like a ship, like the how can I say it? How can I say it? Like
Wells
like a
Fargo.
township
Look, somebody
or
said Wells Fargo was also a post office. Go ahead. Well, that's why it's a bank.
yeah,
That's why it's a bank. Because the post office is a bank.
and they take the deposits, and that's also how they
Bingo!
like offer the yeah.
That's how they got your
They take
name
in
and your
all the
address and who
deposits.
you are.
Yeah, bro. Yeah, and that's the fractionalized, and that leads into like the fractionalized banking, where they able
They
to.
turned it into private banking. They turned. Oh, the U.S. Marshal. Oh my fucking God.
The fractionalized banking, and they borrow
Goodness.
off of the deposits,
They
and they
borrowed
able to
off
give
of the
out loans based off.
deposit. Okay, that makes perfect sense. They borrowed off of the deposit. I was saying last night, you know what kept me up, Taj? I was like, they held that money.
What's that?
They held that money underwater. They held that money underwater. They held that, and I was just like, I don't know what that means. Either the sink the ship sunk, the gold hit the bottom of the water, but that'd be too obvious. I'm thinking water like submerged, like we are, submerged underwater. So our gold would be submerged. And I was thinking that they took a loan out on us, or how did they get us and our property to be submerged in order for them to retrieve it legally? I'm thinking of it like that type of aspect, but forgive me, Chad.
Like a salvage,
Like a salvage.
type of deal.
Yeah, like they salvage, and I'm thinking of it as individuals as well. So my brain was just going off of this shit, bro.
Yeah, because I remember not too long ago, Amanda had brought up the riparian rights.
Yes.
And shoot, my mind gone right now, bro. Like what you just now said just now sent me somewhere
What
else.
you mean? What I say
My
that,
head
that
just now
fucked you
went
up?
somewhere.
What I say?
Just talking about the submerged, everything being submerged,
Yeah.
and like I'm thinking about the flood. What flood was that? I was just looking into it. It was the flood of 1927, I want to say, and that would be around the time when like Hitler was definitely around during that time. That's like Hoover time, and that's right after the Dawes. That's right after the Dawes plan, and that would lead to like a displacement of a lot of people. And
The ship, how would they be able to get all that? What would survive a flood?
a safe.
Yep. Safety lock boxes.
Just like got you.
See
Like
what I
that
said?
thing you showed us the other yesterday with the
Bingo.
Wells that had the Wells
I got
Fargo
it on the screen.
inscription on it.
Safety deposit boxes. They said it was more gold in the ship at the bottom, maybe this, and they had it on 8 persons. So they robbed the bank and genocided all the people because the people had more gold on them than that was at the bank. They made it legal to own gold and all that. They got rid of everybody. It's all theoretical. All of the ship stories is to hide.
Right.
The vessel is the human being. So if the vessel sunk,
Then that goes into the Sescuve.
no, well, now wait a minute. Now wait a minute. Of course, now because that's already legal. That's
Law
Magna
says
Carta.
see.
That's already legal. Now this is how they tricked you. This is how they got you. What did who you said you live by what lake?
What is that? Lake Lanier.
And what they do in that lake?
Everybody is like a recreation site at this point, but they flooded out Oscarville.
And murdered everybody.
Murdered everybody, ran them off, and took the land.
And no, they did more than take the land. That's better. What did they do? They took what else?
They took the names. They took everything, bro.
But they took the safety deposit boxes from the post office, from the bank.
Yeah, and they had a mint right there.
And they had a mint there. Now check this out. They took all their property from inside their homes, all their shit, all their safes, all their shit.
That would be in the safe deposit boxes.
That would be in the safety deposit.
The deed.
And then you got the deed. Now you got the land. Everything will be in the safety deposit boxes. Everything.
And they parceled it out.
And they
at that point, they parceled it out.
Damn.
And they was having like lotteries. They were having lotteries. They also have a town up in land lotteries. And where is this? It's in Forsyth County. It's something called Free Home. And Free Home, they basically was just like that ties back into like the Palpables and Manifest Destiny. They were just giving out like pretty much houses and land for free.
On loan.
They call it free home, so I don't know. I'm not even sure if it was on loan. I think they were giving out people's houses on free, just flat out giving it to them, importing their cousins and everything like that. And that goes back to like when we were talking about the Great White Fleets, and then moving forward at the end of World War II. That's why I put expatriated in the chat earlier, because they repatriated different people. And those people came over. That was Operation Magic Carpet, and that has to do with the Marshall Plan as well, because that's how they populated the state of Israel, and that ties back to the Dawes Plan. And when they took the money, Germany got the money. They paid France, and that ties into like the what is that mandate Palestine.
So France
World War I, and then
moving in on America at the same damn time. with the money that they lent out,
Indeed.
with the shit that they taken and stealing, they're actually moving. Oh my goodness. So, wow.
The Nazis won World War II
The Nazis won
or the Great War,
or the Great War. And the
and then they
United
moved
States
in and they
Marshals
created the
are
United
in
Nations.
violation of the trust. They're in huge violation because they privatized private bankers. They allowed private bankers to impede on my sovereignty and freedom. That's why.
Mm.
And they have one duty, is to protect me from foreign and domestic traitors to the king, traitors to the sovereigns, to the freemen. They have one duty. They have one contract. That's your job. That's your oath. Not to privatize policing to the FBI or Los Angeles Police Department and policies after policies, and not
Right.
that. You are to enforce, unless murder or any crimes versus persons occur, then are you authorized? But you're not even allowed to do that. And then the people who you subcontract, you're the only one allowed to be on this land to even police. And then you subcontract, and they believe they're allowed to go around and asking me why I threw bubble gum on the ground, when that's in total violation. He can't even speak to me. No.
When you're
you
using,
can't. You have no jurisdiction to say anything to me.
got you, and but they are able to do that to 14th Amendment citizens.
According to what they're subcontracted out to do. It's illegal for you. Does the 14th Amendment citizen supersede the United States contract, the Constitution, or override the Magna
No,
Carta?
because you can't change it. You can't amend it. You're not supposed to amend it.
Bingo. I'm not even arguing if it's true within them. They can drink coffee and look at each other and see that. Oh, man. They can say whatever they want. But at the supreme level, it's against the law. No victimless things, but like not having a job during the 13th and 14th Amendment. What would that get you? If you were incompetent, you didn't have a job, and so forth, and they caught you walking the street when you're supposed
You're
to
a
be
criminal. You're gonna go to the asylum or jail.
Now,
You're a
could
vagabond.
you get a job if you didn't convert to be a 14th Amendment citizen, a dead man?
Got you.
So you automatically what? A dead man. You're a dead man walking.
And that ties into like the Social Security Act and having to get into the system in order to work.
What year is that?
In order not to be a criminal.
What year is that?
I want to say 1933, 1934, maybe.
Sounds about right. Long as right there in the early 1900s with their goofy asses. Cool. These are all Germanic, IBM algorithmic, flush you out and flush them in type of thing.
Indeed, and they put it on paper.
It's on paper.
And that's why they're going back to burning the Bible. Because that was the way that everybody kept, that was the record. And they destroyed like the Chronicles buildings and stuff like that. I want to say you had a video not too long ago
they was doing
in
more than
Savannah,
that.
Georgia.
This is how they just stole the people, and they're held ransom in a lockbox in a sunken ship right now, frozen in time. Your ass on the damn Titanic, dead, some damn weird. underwater, submerged, and you been on that little dumbass submarine this whole damn time, going to court in a ship, barred from superior law, which is justice, what comes with constitutional right. They had me thinking that we were going somewhere. Oh, hell no. You ain't going nowhere. You're under this authority. Serapis, a genocidal regime. Oh, yeah. It ain't been right. You ain't owned nothing since. In fact, you went into debt. Now, how do they got your gold and you in debt to the banks? How is that possible? How isn't the Lloyd of London as a corporation sued for every penny they gonna get in the future? How? When they are they have already accepted that they're slave traders, but they're also genocidal, homicidal insurance fraudsters who sunk in many ships and put them underwater for insurance money and their gold. So not only did they get the bodies and get insurance on, they got everything that was insured, including the insured items. Including the insured items. You ever get something insured, like your car, and then get the insurance money for it, and then your dumb ass is still driving, and now now your sister driving the damn car. You don't reported the car damaged and flipped over and stolen, is destroyed. Next week, your sister got the car. You don't got the insurance. Those type of schemes. Yeah, nigga shit. On a large scale. They flooded out the land and stole the lock boxes.
It's not only the Lloyds, it's Disney and all of these corporations that built off of that. All of them are
Say it again.
All these corporations, because they was all the corporations because they're a product of that fraud.
Of course. They was buying up the flooded land, placing amusement parks over them, which is illegal by way of international. But they were placing international corporations on top of the land as if they were different companies, but it was all Disney. That in itself was illegal.
Now that makes sense. All right, now I get it. Now I get why they had Disney in 1923 and then the new Disney in 1973, and we just came out of the 50th year anniversary of Disney Resorts in Florida. That makes sense now to me. Like,
why? Why does it make sense?
As far as the timeline and jubilees and the returns, it's like when they pretty much, it seems like they got an influx of capital. They became more liquid at those periods, and they were able to, you know what I mean, pretty much put it into a shell company and continue to expand their corporation.
So pretty much the entertainment companies end up being the same people who was running government. No.
Indeed.
They were running.
They were the actors.
Let me stop. They were running a foreign, international, illegal, treasonous, genocidal government underground in all those bunkers at Disney resorts all over the place, and using the cover as a attraction for amusement, but really covert Nazi
human trafficking type
from
stuff.
Germany, huh?
Human trafficking,
all
genocidal, like drug pushing.
Trafficker to bring people over here illegally and giving them new life.
And that goes against Title 8 and Title 42.
Why you say that, champion? Talk to the people in law, please.
So Title 8, it says the immigration of the people cannot come from a communist regime. They can't be drug pushers or human traffickers, and these things that they are all guilty of. They're guilty of giving identities to people to different people. So that again, we talking about fraud at that point, and like everything that they're doing as far as immigration goes is faulty. And
It's fraud. It's fraud.
Getting into the word, getting into the word, that goes back not too long ago. You had mentioned, and I looked at it, and I was looking for an opportunity to bring it up. But that's the Ezekiel. I don't want to say the wrong thing. It's not Ezekiel.
Take your time.
Zechariah 12.
Take your time. And
Zechariah 12.
And what do you mean by that? Go ahead.
All right, and it also ties into, I want to say it's Joel 2, it may be Joel 3, when they talking about the gathering and like pretty much everybody gathering and pretty much everybody going home.
Could you explain that, please, or read from that? I would love to hear it.
Yeah, give me a second. Let me pull it up.
Yes, sir. And Kev be hollering at the people. Hit that subscribe button. Hit that cash app. My cash tag is Gills Gang. Shout out to the people who are already there.
All right. I got it,
Kev Gills is coming in on a hot Sunday. Oh, and if you want to play poker tonight, make sure you on a correct tier. You're going to get, we're going to play some poker for a grand prize. You feel me? And you can buy in at any time that you want to. So make sure you're going to play poker tonight. I'm going to try to get it in by 9 or 10. I'm about to drop the link, as a matter of fact, right after this program. Go ahead, champion.
Yeah, and it is another thing that I've been looking into in the word, and that is, I'm about to read Zechariah 12, but it's the day of the Lord, bro. The coming of the day of the Lord, a time, another time, and a division of time. But this is Zechariah 12 right here.
Go ahead.
The burden of the burden of the word of the Lord for Israel, saith the Lord, which stretches forth the heavens and layeth the foundations of the earth, and formeth the spirit of man within him. Behold, I will make Jerusalem a cup of trembling unto all the people round about, when they shall be in the siege both against Judah and against Jerusalem. And in that day will I make Jerusalem a burdensome stone for all people. All that burden themselves with it shall be cut in pieces. Through all the people of the earth be gathered together against it. In that day, saith the Lord, I will smite every horse with astonishment, and his rider with madness. And I will open my eyes upon the house of Judah, and will smite every horse of the people with blindness. And the governors of Judah shall say in their heart, the inhabitants of Jerusalem shall be my strength, and the Lord of hosts, their God. In that day will I make the governors of Judah like a hearth of fire amongst the wood, and like a torch of fire in a sheath. And they shall devour all the people round about, on the right hand and on the left. And Jerusalem shall be inhabited again in her own place, even in Jerusalem. The Lord also shall save the tents of Judah first, that the glory of the house of David and the glory of the inhabitants of Jerusalem do not magnify themselves against Judah. And that day shall the Lord defend the inhabitants of Jerusalem, and he that is feeble among them at the day shall be as David. And the house of David shall be as God, as the angel of the Lord before them. And it shall come to pass in that day that I will seek to destroy all the nations that come against Jerusalem. And I will pour upon the house of David and upon the inhabitants of Jerusalem the spirit of grace and supplication. And they shall look upon me whom they have pierced, and they shall mourn for him, as one mourneth for his only son, and shall be in bitterness for him, as one that is in bitterness for his firstborn. And that day shall there be a great mourning in Jerusalem, and as the mourning of Hadadarim in the valley of Megadon. And the land shall mourn, every family apart, and the family of the house of David apart, and their wives apart, the family of the house of Nathan apart, and their wives apart, the family of the house of Levi apart, and their wives apart, the family of Shimei apart, and their wives apart, all the families that remain, every family apart, and their wives apart. And that's Zechariah 12.
So what did you get from that?
It's a lot. I got a lot from that. It kind of, at the beginning, it kind of reminds me of what we were talking about, what you were talking about with Pandora's box. The opening of Pandora's box basically was like a release of like a horseman. And that go back to like when we were talking about Teddy Roosevelt during the time of the Liberty Bonds, when you had the rider of the four horsemen of the apocalypse. And it was saying that the horsemen were going to be struck with madness, and the horses would be blinded. And what I'm taking from that is basically like a reversal of the curses, because it said that the people of Judah and Jerusalem would pretty much eat off of that. And that goes back to the Leviathan. I want to say it was in Psalms. I don't have it right in front of me. They said that like pretty much the people that are in the wilderness would eat off of the Leviathan that destroyed them. And that goes back to social contract with Thomas Hobbes and leading into all the philosophers and the theosophers in Göttingen. And the banking systems and everything that come along with that.
So you're saying these are related in your conception of it?
How I'm seeing it, because it's also like every time we talking about the great dragon and the Leviathan, we're also talking about the day of the coming day of the Lord. The day that's spoken about, a time, another time, and the division of time in Daniel 7, and I want to say Revelations. I don't have that one right in front of me, but it's also spoken about in Revelation.
Who brought that up?
And the people
B brought that up, right?
B from Texas. Yeah, I remember that day. That was a powerful day.
Who brought that up?
Yeah, because it all clicked right there. Everything clicked right there. Like as far as the timeline for me. But to tie it back into Joel 2, they talking about the people that would be like the armies from the north returning back to their homeland. And at the end of the verse, it was talking about everybody gathering.
That's what I thought. That's what I thought you was talking about. I'm like, wait. Where the fuck am I? I thought you was going back.
Yeah.
Tying this into the homeland.
I just went through the whole thing. It ties back in. That's the connection right there. But I was just going through the whole thing. But the beginning part was talking about what we were just now talking about with these corporations. And it was an old video you did when you were talking about like liquor and being as though like the farmers lost their land. when that land is returned to the people, not only would they get the land back, but they would get the proceeds from anything in any form. So when you take wheat and turn that into alcohol or something like that, it will return back to the original owner, like upon redemption. So it's not only the land being redeemed, but it's the proceeds of the land, like the fruit of the land.
I'm lost.
What you mean?
I'm lost completely. I don't even know what the fuck I was talking about.
Let me bring it back, bro.
I don't even know what the fuck I was talking about. I'm I'm trying I'm sitting up here like what the fuck was I? I'm trying to remember where the fuck I was because I'm talking about.
We was talking about the Dawes plan. We was talking about the Dawes plan. That
I'm
was the
talking about
last
the
thing you were talking
gold
about
on the
before COVID.
George's Law, the dead man's chest, the it's something. I'm
But bro, it all ties back into the people because it's like we talking about the people. We talking about everything about the people, the soul of the people. Who is of George? So it's all tie. It all tie in. How can it not?
How could what not?
The soul or the goal, however you want to term it.
Okay, then let's get back. Let's thank you for the call, chat. But let me get back to the show. I'm fucked up. So post office. The ship. Post office. Lock boxes. Stolen gold. Stolen legacy. I was trying to wonder what the hell I'm talking about. Missing gold and running that gold from the East Coast to from the West Coast to the East Coast, trafficking and all this other stuff. I got lost. I can't even lie. If I didn't remember them lock boxes and them keys and the bank votes, you feel me? Taj, your ass. Whoo! I'm gonna have to make sure one of the sisters keep a tab on when your ass call and make I'm gonna keep a footnote. Press one. I'm gonna keep bingo. KevRow. See, you too confusing. You bouncing around too much. It's not that hard, King. Press one. Ah, man, you confused me. Something wrong with you. Hit that like, nigga, I'm trying to see what the fuck is you on. That motherfucker turned the whole motherfucking steering wheel this way, nigga. We supposed to be going that way. Where is you moving this ship? This nigga, listen, nigga, I'm gonna go take a nap in the back. This nigga Todd said, all right. Put that motherfucker down. Give me goddamn steering wheel. Press one. Put that down. Thought I was gonna take a nap. I told y'all as soon as I start feeling like y'all niggas is up to no good with your trickery. Papa's up. Gotta watch him. Lord have mercy. So lock boxes and all that. Gold. Everything there. Everything Taj could have talked about. That nigga passed up and just laid all over the goddamn place. Help me, please. Just going back to, I'm starting to, Taj, are you American? Press 1. Somebody asked Taj if he African American. And not that nigga. Come on. He talking about, cause yeah, that's what you was talking about, Pandora's box. How you know what the fuck I'm talking about? What about Pandora's box? I'm talking about some other shit because all of this is allegorical. I'm talking about some other shit. So I'll be trying to, where are you going with this? And then I realize this nigga driving in circles. What you eat growing up, Taj? What type of cereal? Taj Bay, huh? Hashtag Taj Bay. Cuz trying to sound suspicious. Hashtag he on his Moorish assignment. Press 1, he trying to read out the word of God, confused everybody. I ain't never heard nobody read. I didn't even get it. I'm like, take it easy on him. It's the first time. He trying. Murray had a little laugh. That boy was trying, wasn't he? He was like, what? He got this shit down, Ali. See what you did to him, Ali? He got this shit down. Yeah, do you mind if I go to, whatchamacallit, 17 and 2 real quick? Yeah, go right ahead. Made him read the whole chapter just to say, huh? Press 1. That nigga thought he was about to get up there in Sunday school and just rip one. Press 1. Huh? I'm lost. Where we at again? What chapter are we on? Bookmark. Jeremiah. Press 1. Blind ass. After Sunday school. God damn Taj. God damn Moorhead ass. Morehouse went to school at Morehouse ass. Press what? Taj, man. Don't leave him with the steering wheel no more. Don't leave him with the steering wheel no more. So, the lock boxes, gold, the flooding of a nation. Taj ain't doing shit. He just repeating what Kev said. He went back and watched Kev Gill talking about, oh, it looked like motherfucking the Louisiana Purchase, just like.
Not like this. Not like this.
This nigga been watching. That nigga watch Kev Gill. Oh, Kev talked about this. This nigga tried to repeat my bars back to me, Ali. Press 1. I'm like, only thing I remember was, wait a minute. This sound like this nigga karaoke in my shit. Press. That nigga jumped. I said, wait. Somebody else wrote that. This nigga said, who wrote the bars, bro? Who wrote that? Damn. I said, wait a minute. That sound like, oh, B, yeah, bro. That's when it all clicked. That's when the format of my flow originated. That's what. No, nigga. Woo. Asking questions he know the answer to. You told us because you told us, huh? I told you. Nigga, this shit is like the Apollo. Brian, like, this nigga, what the fuck is this? Press 1. Hit the like button and subscribe. Don't sit on the phone and waste the professor time fooling around. Trying to sound smart and sound like Brother Polite. making up excuses not to show up to court. Press 1. DJ, this nigga trying to sound smart. And that's what you was talking about. And that's what you B was talking about. And then somebody else brought up the fact, and that's when it all clicked for me. He said, I gave you credit, was trying to tie it in only so you can do what you do, sir. Dog, it ain't about me doing what I do. It's about y'all doing what y'all do. Don't try to turn this shit around like I'm just going to put it in a special way. Nigga, I'm the originator of my own shit. I don't know how you combined all that. Press 1. You said that nigga try to throw it on me. Oh, you can do what you do, sir. I'm giving you something to do what you do. What the fuck am I going to do with this? I can't get jiggy with that shit. Press what? D-Jack. What the fuck is he on, fo? Fo them got me fucked up. Oh, I'm just spitting the bars so you can like put it together in your style and amuse the people with my shit. Nigga, my shit don't sound like shit. That chosen nigga coming out of your ass again, bruh. Press 1.
Not like this.
You better put the devil in his hole, nigga. I'm like, where is he going trying to sound like Kev? Guess who hang out? Taj and Princella. Taj and Princella sitting in the tree. Fucking. Press 1. How would you get? You can fix it. Right now, we on go. You done fucked up the gold. You done fucked up the whole gold, the P.O. box conversation and just strove it. And you just wanted to go your own way. You wanted to think about it yourself. Everybody went to sleep at the same time. Shit ain't normal, yo. That shit ain't normal. Hit that like button, cuz childish, huh? That nigga said, cuz childish. I gave it to you. You not giving that to me. Hot potato. Hot potato. Throw that shit over there. Yeah, bro. You got to catch up, champ. You got to keep your mind focused on the game. Stop watching 1090 Jake. Press 1. Stop watching that stuff, man. So anyway, black Germans, the genocide against them, the stolen legacy, the ship, the post office, the bank, how the post office is the bank, the roles, how they got everything to marshal. All of this is coming into play. The gold that was put inside of the post office is where your deeds and these things will be at. This is coming into view here. Not that shit Taj was talking about. Taj be daydreaming and trying to steer the ship over there and look at dolphins and shit. Press 1. I'm taking y'all to the hood. I can show you where the Bloods at, where the Crips at. Press 1. Where the Hoovers hang out at, right there. Hit that like button and subscribe. World peace, say anybody can. You damn right. My favorite thing is when my favorite students fuck up. Now, they be my favorite students all the way up until they fuck up. See how Taj just fucked up? I don't even think you can recover from that. You got to start all the way from the beginning. I don't think Taj realized that. He think he just fucked up. Nah, this like Nickelodeon. You push the handle and you slide all your dumb ass all the way back. Because I don't know what you said. I don't even know what to remember about your conversation. And that, my friend, is a waste of our motherfucking time. Violation. No, I'm kidding. I don't care. If today is a good day, it's the weekend. I enjoy making fun of y'all, but make it make sense. You know, bring it home, bring it back into reality. That's all. Don't go too far over there. So who was in charge of the postal situations at this time, so you can redeem yourself. Remember Mr. Butts. Now listen to me. Remember Mr. Butts? Taj, call in. You can redeem yourself right now. So I bet you a light bulb went in this nigga house, in his brain. Remember Mr. Butts? Who was he? Now watch this. When you watch Adolf Hitler, this just came to my head. When you watch Adolf Hitler and that little man sitting next to him with the mustache, that's Mr. Butts. We just seen Mr. Butts on the film next to Adolf Hitler and nobody even say nothing. That's the post. Who was that? Well, I'm going to let Taj bring that up. And his name, if you want to redeem yourself. Come on. He has something to do with the post general, postmaster, and he was also the gentleman that resembles Theodore Roosevelt to almost a T. But never mind that. They're all English names here, but truly Nazi regime there. But hey, we'll get back to Black German, stolen legacy, stolen trust, stolen gold, postmasters, post office, all of the great things that come with that. I may not be on tomorrow. I may be on. Shout out to the people who call into the show. I try to keep y'all amused and going, but if the calls stop, so do I. Coffee and Kush TV, KevRow University. I enjoyed every moment of this conversation. And as always,